Peace. Good morning, family. How you doing? It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. I would just like to say thank you and I appreciate you for being here. Today is Monday, April the 18th. Today is the last day of your taxes for those that are in the U.S. It's the last day of your taxes. If you haven't filed your taxes yet, of course, this is the day that you need to turn it in. So that's just a little adult PSA for those out there that do their taxes and they haven't turned it in. Today is your last day, so don't let today be the day that you remember about your taxes, but don't let today be the last day. But today is the last day anyway. But good morning. How was your weekend? Put an emoji on how your weekend was. Or if you want to talk about your weekend was good, my weekend was fun, my weekend was whatever, put that in the chat. Or put an emoji, whichever one again you feel like doing. But my prayers that your weekend has been blessed, beautiful, and bountiful, just like your harvest is going to be. So I thank you for being here, just picking up to see another day where I can see you electronically, virtually, and you can see me virtually as well. So I thank you for that. So everybody that's here right now, again, today is your day. Peace. Good morning, Miss Selena. Today is your day, and I'm glad that we are able to share it together. Everybody that's on the YouTube space, again, thank you. Podcast land, I thank you 1,000%. But today we're going to be talking about the power of discovery. So, the power of discovery. Now, I'm just going to be transparent. I was trying to figure out what in the world am I going to talk about. For me, I have to be in a certain headspace or a particular headspace. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that has to be in the headspace to do certain things. That's someone who actually knows who they are, meaning they know how to operate. They know how their body operates. They know how their mind operates. So I had to be in a certain headspace in order for me to discover what I was going to talk about. So it kind of worked out, hand in hand. Even it sounds like it was a continuation of what we spoke about last week when we talked about remember who are. And it feels like it's a part two, but not really, but really it wasn't designed that way. And it wasn't, even thought of honestly until after I began to look at it like, man, this is like a part two to remember who you are. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. Make sure you go ahead and take this live, share it on your news feed, or share it into a Facebook group. And once you finish with that, go ahead and put the word done. So let's go ahead and jump into it. 2 feet into power of discovery. So this is going to be a blessing to someone. Again, how we operate in this platform. If there's something that resonates with you, just go ahead and drop it and put it inside the chat, because what happens is it allows other people to feel okay with communicating. You ever been in a space to where you don't want to ask a question, or you're waiting for somebody else to go get up and eat before you say, okay, well, I can go eat now. Somebody else, they already broke the ice. So if there is something that resonates with you, just go ahead and openly respond, because your open response could be someone else's door to say, you know what, they respond, oh, I like what they said. Now they're communicating with you, and it's becoming an interactive conversation. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So the very first thing, of course, like always, we're going to talk about the definition of the word. And from the definition of the word, we go into it. So as you see, the definition of recovery, can y'all hear me? I just want to make sure before I continue. I don't want to continue and then somebody text me later on in the day, talking about, I couldn't hear you. Yeah, don't do that. So the definition of discovery is the act of finding out or learning of for the first time. So the act of finding out or learning of for the first time. And the inversion of this is red over white, the act of learning. The act of learning, because in order for something, or in order for the activity of discovery, you're going to have to discover. That means there is something that is taking place that is going to reveal to you what it actually is. Because when you look at the word discovery and you try to find other words that match the words or align with the words, there are so many different words. There's like 19 different lines of words that you can use, like found and revelation and all those types of words. And I was like, man, there's lots of things. So what does that mean to you, that there are other words that you can use besides discovery? That means there's other ways that you can learn. It's not just one way that you can learn something. And that's true, because a lot of times we try or we strive to learn methods or to learn in ways that we see other people learning. And when we get to that space where we feel like we don't get it, we may feel like we have a learning disability, or we're not able to grasp it. But if there's 19 different ways that you can use to use the word discovery in other words, then that means you have other ways of learning. That means you have the ability to learn it. That might just not be the way that you learn it. That's probably not the way that you're designed to get it. So that's when you actually begin to take shape in order for you to understand what it is and how you learn it, because it's an act of learning. So an act of learning means you have to be active in finding out what is the process that you have to go to or go through of learning it. I'm gonna leave that alone, but I'm gonna keep it on the table for you to examine it at a later date, because again, there are 19 different lines of words that you can use besides discovery. So that means that's not the only way that you're going to have to learn it. That's not the only way that somebody can teach it. That's not the only way that you comprehend, or that's not the only comprehension that you're going to have. That means the act of learning, that means you have the ability to learn it. That just might not be it. All right, so going into self-discovery. So we're going to be talking about 5 ways to self-discovery, because a lot of times it's hard for us to find our way, or it may be troublesome in order for us to get to the point to where we can acknowledge that self-discovery even took place. How many of you have ever been in this moment, or how many of you are in this moment right now? Only those who want to answer in a transparent and honest way will even answer that question openly, to say, you know what, I'm still in my self-discovery. I'm still at that point. I'm still in that moment. And I want you to say something for those that either used to be in that moment, or someone that is in that moment currently. I want you to say, my greatest discovery has not been revealed yet. Because remember, discovery is the act of. So that means that you are not, or you have yet to fall or fail at looking or finding your best you, or working on your best you. So again, when we talk about self and then hyphen, that means that you are taking on that role and responsibility of discovery. Self, not you worrying about what mama said, or worry about what your daddy said, or your auntie, or your teacher, or whatever it is. That means the sole responsibility is still on you, in order for you to design a way that you can comprehend it. Because remember, if there's like 19 different lines of words that you can use besides discovery, that means find your way. It doesn't have to be that way like somebody else. So let's go into the very first one. So the first one I want you to pay attention to is to learn about our inner strength. Learn about your inner strength. Why? It's going to make you stronger. Your inner strength is going to make you stronger because it allows you to tear down those cultural myths, or it allows you to tear down those family traumas, to where you have to begin to look deep inside of you. Again, I will say it and I will say it forever. I am a true proponent of speaking to yourself, because when you learn about your inner strength, that is how you will begin to experience new things. And I want you to know and understand that pain is not the only way that you should experience things. Now, it is a way, but it is not the only way. Because again, remember, discovery has 19 different lines that you can use to discover yourself, or to learn something, or to have something revealed, or have something to become a revelation to you. So there's no one way of doing it. Your experience in growing does not have to be tagged, or does not have to have a string of pain along with it. And I want you to remember that. You know, people say no pain, no gain. Okay, bet. But how many different lines of words that you can use besides discovery? 19. So it doesn't have to be no pain, no gain. That might not be your saying. So don't take somebody else's cliche as your as you, but look at it as, okay, that's how you accept it. I don't have to be in pain for me to learn something. I can experience something and learn something in my happy space. I can experience and learn something in my place of peace. I can experience and learn something in my innermost being, because if I am speaking to me, then I am designing the best me inside of me, not waiting for you to do something for me, but I am doing it for myself, because that's my inner strength and my inner peace. That's your self-discovery. And that's number one. And the next thing that I want you to do, number two, is now we're talking about comparing your efforts. Not to no one else, but comparing your efforts. Because when you begin to compare your efforts, you begin to understand that I have learned something about me from the previous attempts at the things that I've done. And now I am using those things that I've done and I've learned about myself. And it's going to empower me to learn more about me. And I'm not worried about anyone else's efforts, because it's my efforts that's important to me. In my self-discovery and in my efforts, I am going to look at the things that I know that allowed me to win, and I will no longer avoid the opportunities, but I will look at the opportunities as the ability to create a new life for myself, because there is going to be a course correct, or there is going to be a mental shift, or a shift in the paradigm that is going to allow me to compare what I did in the past, that is going to prepare me for tomorrow. That's you taking on the active role of learning. Because remember, I'll say it again, it is the act of. It is not you waiting, but you actively engaged into the process of learning about you and to discover the best you. And say again, my greatest discovery has yet to be discovered. So that means you are constantly and continuously working on you. You are constantly and continuously learning new things about you. You are constantly and continuously knowing that there are things that you can work on, and you are actively working on it. Don't allow you to to go to your favorite excuse. That's crazy, right? That makes no sense. Oh, that's my go-to excuse. Hey, I'm gonna say this, not today, or I'm gonna say this, tomorrow I'm gonna start, or I'm gonna say this, man. You know what? I'm just not feeling it. No, you're afraid. That's all that is. You're afraid. And the day and the moment you say, you know what, I'm afraid to start. I'm afraid that I'm not gonna make it. And after you are honest with yourself and have the ability to say that, I guarantee you, you will then be able to understand that I am comparing what I did yesterday, which is going to design what my tomorrow is going to look like. But because I was afraid yesterday, I know what fear looks like. I know what fear feels like. And I'm not going to be afraid to start tomorrow, because it's what I do right now that is going to allow me and allow myself to build a better tomorrow based off of what I do right now. And that's how you begin to grow your resilience. That's number 3. Grow your resilience. Because don't you know and understand, when you grow your resilience, that is you keeping a log or a mental file of knowing what good feels like. We don't always have to talk about the bad side in order for us to be resilient. Now, I know, when I went through Master Resiliency Trainer, they say hunt the good stuff, because they want you to look at the things that make you feel good, because that is going to deliver or to develop some sort of muscle memory, so you know what good feels like. Why do you have to remember 19 different lines of words that you can use besides discovery? So why do you feel that resiliency has to happen only after you hit that wall? It doesn't always have to happen after you ran slammed deep into the wall and now you're trying to get repaired to say, I'm resilient. I'm resilient. No, you was resilient before you hit the wall. That's where you have to discover that you was resilient before the wall ever had contact with you. That's when you know that you were strong before that not so strong moment. And when you remember that, or you develop that muscle memory, or you have that file inside of your subconscious to know that I was resilient before the pain came, that lets you know that you can do it again, because you know what good feels like. You know what accomplishing your goals feels like. You know what accomplishing that task feels like. Because when you succeed at something, that lets you know that you can overcome any obstacle in your life, because you know what the good feels like. Discovery is like gap insurance in your life, because when you hit the wall and you totaled it, that means that you wasn't totally lost. You wasn't totally out of it. Because the gap insurance is your insurance to let you know that you got you, that you got yourself, that you have the ability to go and get you something new, because I remember what it felt like when it was good to me. I know what it felt like when I smiled. I know what it felt like when I used to laugh. I know what it felt like when I was at my strongest point. So my not so strong point will have the ability, I refuse to allow that to take and to overcome my own abilities, because I have the capability of remembering what it was when I was at my peak strength. That is growing your resilience. And number 4 is when we like dive deep into it, is when we identify our beliefs. I'm not talking about your religious beliefs or none of that stuff. I'm talking about the real you. I'm talking about the you that talks to you when no one else is around. I'm talking about the person that speaks life inside of you. Or if you're not even there yet, maybe you need to identify your beliefs. Maybe you need to see that your beliefs is the thing that's tearing you down. Those weak, false belief systems and saying, I can't do it. Those false belief systems that saying, oh, I would never find me. I don't have a gift. I don't have a vision. I haven't found my purpose. I don't know what purpose is. Those false beliefs can be the parasite to any life that you strive to live, because you tear it down before you even attempt to do it. That makes no sense for you to have an ideology of yourself that you can't do it because you haven't even tried. Because remember, if the definition is saying the act of learning, you have to actively try. Because when we identify our beliefs, that means we no longer utilize those things or those beliefs that do not serve us any good. Those beliefs don't serve us no purpose. Get rid of those beliefs that serves you no purpose. Get rid of those sayings that truly don't represent who you are right now. Just get rid of it. Identify it first. That's just like problem solving. The very first thing in problem solving is to identify the problem. So the very first things in those false beliefs or those words or those sayings that you say that does not work in your favor in the who that you are right now, because you know where you came from, because you've already begun to grow your resilience. So therefore, those saying no pain, no gain, carry that on if you want to. You don't have to be in pain to gain. So eliminate those ideal beliefs that does not depict the true you that you are right now. And I'll show you somebody who has begun to discover themselves, because they know the strength, the inner strength that they've had, or they know that they were strong before that not so strong moment came about. And that muscle memory kicks in as soon as they feel that way. Like, wait a minute, hold up. I know what this feels like, so I could identify it. And because I could identify it, that means that I can do something about it. And the last one is try new things. Try new things. Because if the act of learning, that means you are actively in action of learning new things. And you don't have to be good at everything. Just try new things. I'm going to repeat that. And for those that get it, for those that understand that, say that. You don't have to be good at everything, but just try new things. And it's okay to be a beginner all over again. Because remember, your discovery is the gap insurance. Just like if you have a vehicle, an auto accident, and your car is totaled, and that gap insurance is going to fill in the gap in order for it to pay off the rest of the vehicle and you go get you another one. So it's okay to start over again because it might put you in something better. It might put you in a better vehicle. It might put you in a better space. It might put you in a better time. It might show you that you had the ability to do it all along. So it's okay to be a beginner. It's okay to get support. It's okay to observe others, but as long as you understand that at the end of your observation, it is your choice that you choose to make after that decision is made. So, discover you and have no fear in your discovery process. Because when you understand, in my discovery, I want you to say this, in my discovery, I found myself. And when you get to that point, I promise you it's going to put you in a better space. Because in my discovery, I found out that blah, blah, blah. In my discovery, I found out that I like this. Or during my discovery, I found out that I was actually stronger than I thought I was. In my discovery, whatever it is, but that's when you are speaking to your inner person to say that you got it. All right. Y'all be blessed. And I'll see you tomorrow, 7:30. Thank you for being here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. Make sure you share this live with somebody else, and those that may be listening in it on the pod, take that link and share it with someone else, especially someone that you know that has been seeking to find their way to their self-discovery. This may be the push to get them to go into direction that is progressive in their life and not pushing them down, but assisting them to stand themselves up. Y'all be blessed.